Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome back to another video. So on this video, guys, I want to have a conversation, and the conversation today is going to be about the stock of the year, right? Maybe the stock of our lifetimes, Nvidia, right? So we want to have this conversation about Nvidia today because today Nvidia hit a milestone. Now, you're probably saying, what milestone did it hit? Well, Nvidia today closed the trading day in terms of its stock as the largest company in the world, the largest publicly traded company in the world. So, welcome in if you're watching me on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook. Welcome in. Glad to have you. Thanks for being here. Let's have this conversation because this channel is all about making money, right? Making more money, managing your money better, all that stuff. So, this is something that's pretty relevant and pretty important. So, I wanted to have a conversation about it. Let me know where you're coming in from. If you're not over here on YouTube, I'm going to be sharing my screen on YouTube. Maybe you might want to go over to YouTube and give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, by the way. Thank you so much, Chris Style 405, kicking it off with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Chris. When you say, how do you get started? What do you mean? How do you get started investing in stocks, investing in Nvidia? Let me know. But I appreciate more than you know that super chat. Thank you. Donna's in the house. She said, I have no idea how to buy stock. Hope you have some suggestions. Okay, I can help you out with that, Donna. Absolutely. Sunset on the Ocean. Good to have you here. You're right. Let's talk about it. Dodge J is in the house. We got Chris. We got another Chris. We got to already hit the like button. Thank you, D. Dawson. Art of War is in here. Thank you, Art of War, for being here from Ohio State. We got Salina, Kansas. I went to K-State, not far from Salina, Kansas. Good to have you here. We got Fort Wayne, Indiana. We got folks checking in from a lot of places. Mrs. Moore, thank you for the thumbs up. Sardis, MBC. I'm not sure. Is that Sardis, Mississippi? Let's see. Chicago, Illinois is here. Mia is here. Appreciate you being here. Georgia in the house. We got folks in North Carolina, Leon, North Carolina, Hoffman Estates in Illinois, upstate New York, all over the place. So we need to talk about Nvidia. Now, let me say this. I'm not going to be one to say I told you so, right? But I just 2 weeks ago, I did a video that said Nvidia will be the largest company in the world. I thought it would take about 6 months. I said Nvidia will take over as the largest company in the world. And if you go to the description box of this video, that video is the first thing you'll see in that description box. It was done about 2 weeks ago. I saw what Nvidia was doing in terms of their quarterly earnings, their reports, their numbers, and I saw what they were doing in terms of the space they were in, and they were just killing the game altogether. So I just saw it, and I know other people saw it too. But it overtook Apple, it overtook Microsoft, and today became the largest publicly traded company in the world. Dollar wise, market cap wise, right? Orlando, Florida's in the house. Good to have you, Wilbert. San Francisco's here. Let's see. Somebody said, I remember you saying that. Yep. Osiris, I did. It's exploding again. I want to talk about what's going on with Nvidia. Somebody said I sound like a young Tony Gwynn. If you don't know, Tony Gwynn was one of the greatest baseball hitters in the history of Major League Baseball here in America. Let's see here. So I appreciate that. Tony Gwynn's a good guy. All right. So let me share my screen with you guys first and foremost, real quick, just to kind of go over a couple things that I saw out there today, and I want to show you and have the conversation. I like to always share my screen with you guys so you can kind of see what I see and read what I read. Let's see here. Nvidia. Here go one. If I think I have access to that one. Nvidia is. I don't have good access to that one. So let me go to another one. Bear with me here. Just bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I just want to pull up a couple of articles real quick. I can't even get it out. Articles. Let's see. Okay, we'll pull up this one from CNN. All right. Nvidia surpasses Microsoft to become the world's largest public company in the world. publicly traded company. Nvidia's Wall Street's artificial intelligence poster child is now the most valuable company in the world, taking the crown, ripping the crown, destroying the crown from Microsoft. Nvidia's market capitalization closed at a roughly 3.34 trillion on Tuesday today, edging past Microsoft's 3.32 trillion value. Apple, the third most valuable company in the US, with a 3.27 trillion market cap. So they're all in the 3 trillion club, right? Only companies in the 3 trillion club: Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia. Last week we saw Apple overtake Microsoft for number one. This week we see Nvidia overtake Apple and Microsoft for number one. It may fluctuate back and forth over the next day, 2, 3 week or so, but ultimately, guys, I want you to hear me out on this. This is my opinion. It's not fact. We can't predict anything. Ultimately, Nvidia will solidify itself as the number one company ongoing for the next few years, foreseeable few years. It will be the top company in the world, publicly traded. I'm not going to say guarantee you, but I can say that looking at not only the numbers, earnings, but looking at the company in totality. Again, it says Nvidia closed 3.5% higher today, and Microsoft shares fell a tad bit today, and so did Apple, right? Making them lose a little bit of market cap, right? It says the chip makers a tear for the last year and a half. Nvidia's chips are unmatched in producing processors that power AI systems, including generative AI, the technology backing OpenAI's GPT that can create text, images, and other media. Nvidia is the leader of the tech behemoth Mag 7 stocks that have driven much of the stock returns this year since the AI frenzy overtook Wall Street last year. Guys, Nvidia has almost tripled in value since January. 6 months, they've almost tripled in value, right? Tremendous. The company's stock is up roughly 174% for the year and was the S&P 500's best performer in 2023, on pace to be the best performer in 2024. The CEO, the Jensen Huang-led company's dethroning of Microsoft today comes as Wall Street's most prominent tech companies battle for the coveted top spot, right? Apple on June 13th, last week, became the most valuable company, as I said. Now, it also mentioned Nvidia's they completed a 10-for-1 stock split back on June 7th. Now, remember, guys, June 10th, 8 days ago, Nvidia completed their stock split, right? Nvidia completed the stock split 8 days ago. All right. Now I'm going to share something else with you real quick. Let's see here. Boom, boom. And was that? Yep. Okay. So in this article right here, I want to show you this article real quick. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Nvidia pushes out Apple, Microsoft become the world's most valuable company. Nvidia, the chip maker at the center of the AI boom, continued its spectacular stock market rise. Nvidia shares rose more than 3% today, given an overall market valuation of $3.34 trillion. Now, here's Nvidia's rise on my screen, by the way. If you're not on my screen, go over to YouTube and check it out here. It's Smart Money Bro on YouTube. So, July of 2022, way down. Look at it since January. This right here, you will be hard pressed to see this type of growth in a company in the next, I'm going to say probably the next 20 years, in a company of this size in the next 20 years. Okay. I'm not talking about penny stocks. I'm talking about companies that have, billions of dollars of market cap. You're going to be hard pressed to see this type of growth in the next 5, 10, 15 years. I could be wrong, but this is pretty interesting. The AI boom has been reshuffling the world's biggest companies in the past 2 years. Goes on to say NVIDIA's rise to become the world's most valuable company underlines how strongly investors believed big tech executives' claims that AI will overhaul whole swaths of modern life. AI demands more processing power from computers than other kinds of software, and business leaders are busy building new data centers and filling them with chips from Nvidia and other companies to handle AI tasks. So let me just kind of get out of this and show you what Nvidia stock has actually done. Okay. So let's see if I can't pull up their stock and see what they've done. Just do a little bit of analysis on their stock. Um, mm, 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 mm. Let's see here. Okay, so I'll just put up Google, right? So looking here in Google, guys, just want to give you a feel for what we're looking at since we're talking about Nvidia. We're let's refresh, make sure we're good. 135.58 is what it's closed at. And if we go back to the year to date, let's not do year to date, let's do year over year. So we go back to 1 year ago. No, let's go year over year. 1 year ago, this time about June of last year, if we take away the 10 for 1s or we leave the 10 for 1 split in it, Nvidia would have been trading at about $43 per share. About $43 per share last year today. Again, tripled its price. Now Nvidia trades at 130, 135, which they close the day at 135. More than triple based on that, right? That's tremendous, right? Right? That means if you had put in what $10,000 in Nvidia last summer, now you have $30,000. That type of growth is unheard of. Why is that type of growth happening? Well, it's what Nvidia is leading the charge in, right? Leading the charge in. And so that's why Nvidia is going crazy, right? Literally crazy. Think back 5 years ago. You could have bought Nvidia 5 years ago, and it would have roughly been equivalent of $4.11. $4.11 you could in 5 years ago you could have bought in at $4.11. The name of this video, guys, here on YouTube is Nvidia stock is making people rich. It's number one and still growing. I've named it that for a reason, right? Nvidia stock is making people rich and it's still growing. It's really at the beginning. It's at the beginning stage of what's going on with the AI boom, right? So just to recap some of the things that we talked about before about NVIDIA, just to recap, NVIDIA is they're actively introducing AI into a wide array of industries. They are actively leading the charge to implement it for industries, right? Leveraging its powerful graphics processing units, GPUs, and AI platforms to help businesses be more innovative, more efficient, make more money, more profitable, etc. That's the whole point of NVIDIA, and that's what they're doing. They're out front of this AI boom that we are seeing at the beginning stages right now, right? As I mentioned, healthcare, you name it, right? I'll just pull up a list of things and just talk about them real quick. There it is right there. Healthcare, medical imaging, drug discovery, personalized medicines, right? The automotive industry, cars that drive themselves, smart machines for airlines and, the defense industry and, you name it. All types of transportation. I don't care if it's transportation, if it's a bus or if it's a train or if it's an airplane or if it's just a car or a bike, right? AI is sitting in there somewhere. Manufacturing, preventive maintenance, quality control, infrastructure in terms of companies and manufacturers, you name it, machinery. And then we go to finance and banking and fraud detection and algorithms and crypto, not crypto, well, cryptocurrency. They're in cryptocurrency. They're in the mining of cryptocurrency. They're in the retail, right? Customers experience, like I said before, inventory management, telecommunications, what we're doing right now on this channel, on YouTube, right? Communications, telecommunications, social media, customer service, energy, oil and gas, entertainment, movies, whatever, analytics in the background, data analysis, whatever it could be, software, hardware, agriculture, you name the industry. It doesn't matter the industry. All of those industries use computers, and all computers are going to use AI if they're not already starting to use AI. So everybody is sitting in front of a computer at home, at work, when you travel, when you walk down the street. Everybody's got AI in their pocket with a cell phone. AI. So technology is everywhere. Therefore, AI is going to be everywhere, right? That's the gist of it, right? Technology, AI built on top of technology. This is why I said 2 weeks ago, Nvidia is poised to be the #1 company in the world, right? AI, enterprise, they have Nvidia, all different types of products and services, right? Products that they offer, right? Not to mention, I think one article I just read mentioned generative AI. And the thing about generative AI is that it can that's AI that's learned that can learn to think, right? And learn to spit out stuff based on its own thinking, right? Text, images, music, video, whatever, based on patterns that it learns. That's generative AI. It means it's generating it on its own, right? A smart machine that writes stories and draws pictures and composes songs and gives you the keys to play that song on the piano and on the guitar, and in about 3 seconds it can give you how to play that song on 75 different instruments, right? It makes videos, right? It hears your voice and creates whatever you want it to create. Generative AI, right? So this is the space and the spaces that Nvidia is playing in. Not just playing in, but leading in. That's the kicker. I mean, Intel, Cisco, Broadcom, they're all playing in the space. But Nvidia is leading the space, right? Nvidia is out front of the space, right? That's the kicker. That's why Nvidia is on another level. And last week, or week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago maybe, when they split and they were at $120 per share. 120 per share. Today, 130, what did I say? 135, 135. Steady going up. 6 months from now, who knows? 140, 150, 160. Right? A year from now, 210, 230, 270, 290. I don't know. Right? Depends on a lot of factors. Depends on a lot of factors, right? And so I've been neglecting the chat. I'm sorry. Let me get back to the chat. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button for me. Just take for 2 seconds, stop what you're doing, go to that little thumb and hit it for me. Now, this information that we're talking about is not me saying, oh, you need to go out and buy Nvidia. No, what I'm trying to explain to you is how to evaluate and how to look at companies. Now, before we went and looked a little bit at their 10Q, right? Looked at their earnings report, their latest earnings report for what they call Q1 of 2025 is what they called it, right? We looked at their earnings report. Now, I'm not going to spend time on this video looking at earnings reports, but a part of your research in order to say if you're going to buy a company or buy Nvidia is to look at the company, how it's ran, its history, what industries is it in, what is the potential of those industries for growth or not growth, right? I mean, a wild example would be, if you're looking at a company and this company is dibbling and dabbling in an industry, not dibbling, if they're leading in an industry that is soon to be gone, right? is phasing out, an industry that's sort of leaving out, right? This company makes CD players, right? And people don't use CD players so much no more, right? But this company is specializing in CD players and they look like they're growing. Well, that's a problem because it doesn't matter what the numbers say on paper about the company. If they're specializing in an industry that's going by the wayside, it ain't going to look good in a year or 2 years or 3 years. This is just, as you begin to invest, this is some things you got to think about, right? So I'm just saying Nvidia is on a tear. And based on all the industries and what they do, look, all the Mag 7 are their customers, right? All the companies that are fighting with them for the number one spot, and not really fighting with them for the number one spot, but they're the largest companies in terms of market cap in the world. The Facebook or Metas, the Teslas, Tesla was up there, not anymore, but they may be back. Alphabet, Google, right? Obviously, Microsoft and Apple. These people are today. They are the customers of Nvidia. Tomorrow, they're going to be the competitor of Nvidia. But that tomorrow is several years out. Okay? Several years out. Because I guarantee you at some point, Google, right? Alphabet, Google, is going to start making and doing what Nvidia is doing in terms of AI, right? At some point, Amazon is going to be heavier into the AI space, and they may start producing a chip, right? Sort of like Elon Musk is trying to, get into the AI space. What do you call it? XAI or some AIX or whatever, right? Other companies are going to be getting into space and competing, but it's hard to compete when a company is already 15 steps ahead of you. So yeah, all of these big Mag 7, they're going to be the competitors of Nvidia, but in Nvidia, Nvidia has already announced introduction of new equipment or new stuff for 2026 and 2027, 2-3 years out. So Nvidia is poised to be that company that could get to a 5 trillion, could get to a 10 trillion in the next couple of years in terms of market share. They could go so far out ahead of the rest of the pack and make it a 5-year process to catch them in terms of their GPUs and all of their graphics. Think about what they specialize in and have specialized in for 30 years, right? Like Nvidia's not new. They've been specializing in graphic processing units for 30 years. They spent the first 5-10 years really focused on video games, right? But look how big the video game industry is, right? Let me just see something real quick. The video game industry is worth about 214 billion. So you're talking about a $200 billion industry that Nvidia is leading the pack in and have been involved with for 30 years. That's just video games, right? We're not talking about all the other applications of AI on every single piece of technology that's on the planet. The potential for AI. We're just talking about video games, graphic processing units, GPUs for video game. Taking that video game that looks old and making it look like you're sitting there in the video game. That's how crisp those things have come. So that's where Nvidia has played for 30 years, right? But now, in the last 3, 4, 5, 10 years, they're venturing out and they're at the front of the AI boom. So AI is here to stay at this point, right? Not to mention data centers, right? Data centers is basically, let me see what we got in the chat real quick. Data centers are basically specialized facilities, right? That support the large scale, computational things that go on when they're setting up AI, right? Not to mention that they're a leader in data centers, right? So, I mean, there's no reason to think this company is going to slow down next week and all of a sudden dip. And you'll know that if you research the numbers, the quarterly reports and the earnings reports, and start understanding and listening to the direction of the CEO, right? So let's see, we got Terminator type of AI, maybe one day. iRobot, we'll see. Somebody says Nvidia AI is only in the data center. It's not in your computer. That's a new chip. Okay, okay, hear me out. The corn companies are starting to use AI, which generates between 15 billion and 97 billion annually. That's corn. That's one commodity, right? Excuse me. So the potential of this AI thing is beyond the scope of what we can imagine, right? And if it's beyond the scope of what we can imagine, then the growth of the leading company is going to be tremendous, right? And you've already seen it be tremendous. Look, I'm not saying nothing new. If you're following Nvidia for the last few years, you understand. But here's the kicker, and this is what I want you to really understand as an investor. Okay. When you see a firm or company doing what NVIDIA is doing, you got to put your peripherals on. Is that the right word? Peripherals on. You got to start looking around and you got to start saying, okay, competition. Where's the competition? Who's the competition? Okay. Who's coming up? Okay. Who's going to benefit from the AI boom? It's not just NVIDIA, right? You look at the stock of Apple, the stock of Broadcom, the stock of AMD. There's many other companies who aren't at the level NVIDIA's at, but are still seeing these tremendous gains. Maybe not, again, to the level of NVIDIA, but they still are really growing. And just yesterday, I had a live on here where I talked about my ETF strategy. Part of my ETF strategy is to be heavy in tech right now. Why? Because this is not the same environment of 1999 when we had the tech stocks fall off. It's not the same environment, guys. It's a different environment. It would be like trying to compare the 2008, 2009, 2010 real estate market to the 2024, 25, 26 market. It ain't the same. You may see a few characteristics that look similar, but everything around it has changed. So the market's not going to react the exact same way in the housing market. And the same thing is true in the tech market, right? Let's see here. Somebody said, I'm just reading. I'm all way behind as always because I get on these tangents and keep going, right? Somebody said, ride the wave. Somebody said, too high to buy now or be broke. GameStop is a retailer of games. It don't compute. Not sure what they were saying. You guys are responding to each other, and I like you talking to each other, so have at it, right? If you got a question for me, put a Q in there, and I'll see if I can pick it out. Let's see here. Let's see here. Ask that question again, Roshan Eppinger. Ask that question again. I want to see if I can answer it better. Answer it. Apple's going to be right behind them. Yes, Apple is resilient. I am not an Apple guy. I don't do Apple products, but look, Apple is right there. Apple is right there. Apple is trying to compete, and they are doing a great job at competing at this point where they're at. Right? The spaces they play in are a little bit different right now, but that difference is going to come together at some point. Apple would be a major competitor, right? Let's see here. Somebody said it's such a powerful company. Apple has already started. Musk has already started stressing. Absolutely. NVIDIA was making video games back then. Absolutely. NVIDIA has been around because their graphic processing units were designed to enhance graphics. But think about this. Just their enhancing of graphics, just that space alone, think about what that could do for hospitals. Think about what that could do for the automotive industry. Think about just what that alone could do for many billion-dollar industries, right? Let's see here. Somebody said, hey, we got to get the likes up, guys. You got to do me a favor, small favor. Hit the thumbs up. Share the link. If you know somebody who's interested in investing in NVIDIA, please send this link to them. Somebody who you think is interested in investing in general in the stock market, please send this link to them, right? So software, hardware, GPUs and TPUs. Those are the tensor processing units. Scalability of their resources, right? Storage solutions, right? The networking, the whole ecosystem for software. And I've been learning some of this stuff because I'm not a real tech guy, but I've been learning quite a bit of it over the last 6 months or so, right? AI data center, deep learning, right? High performance computing, the Blackwell, and what's the other one coming out that's after the Blackwell, right? This is where they're playing in. And these things are not going anywhere. So my urgent call to you, urgent. Nvidia stock is making people rich. It's number one and is still growing. No doubt. Its technology is used in too many places. Like I said, gaming, cryptocurrency, professional, visualization, graphics, data centers, automotive, you name it, healthcare, whatever. They're everywhere. Right? They just have what they call an end-to-end AI platform. The software, the hardware, the data centers. It's all there. I don't care if it's human robots, self-driving cars, whatever. They're out in front of all of the major technology things going on. Hopper, they called it a hopper. The hopper's out right now. They have the Blackwell coming out. I think B100, B200 versions of that, right? But if you're not in Nvidia, guys, I want you to do me a quick favor in this chat. Just real quick, do a little chat. Let me know why you are not in Nvidia, or are you invested in Nvidia and plan to keep investing in Nvidia? Let me know in the chat right here, guys. And I think I got another chat going on over here. Man, let me know. I can't really read that because I need some glasses, but that's over here on Facebook. But let me know if you're invested in Nvidia somehow, maybe through an ETF, maybe through an index fund. Let me know in the chat below. We got some, okay, boom, boom, boom. Somebody said Apple builds different chips. Yes. Amazon builds Google builds different chips. Yes, different chips. You're right. How efficient are they and how effective are they? Let's see here. I'm trying to catch up. Do I like Palantir? Palantir is okay, not bad. Not a bad stock. Got some room for some help. They've had some issues here and there. Mag 7, all in on Nvidia, said Robert. Let's see here. Appreciate you forwarding the video, Art of War. Brady said I'm in. 6-9 said Nvidia. Somebody said, appreciate that, Arelis. I have 70 shares of Nvidia is what Clint said, I think. GRE, Nvidia. Ria G invested in Nvidia and plan to keep investing. Andrew, Nvidia. Callie, all in Nvidia. Okay. Somebody says 400 shares here. Where do you think a realistic price target is if they kill the next earnings? Oh man, where would a realistic price target be? Give me a time frame, Adam. I think it's going to continue to go up. I think there are some issues going on with Nvidia that just some things to keep in mind in terms of SEC filings and some type of litigation, right? Keep in mind, you can look on their earnings report and see their talk about litigation, right? If there's any litigation, lawsuits and things like that, that could be an issue, small issue, but it could be something to keep your eyes on, right? Let's see here. Let's see. I just wonder, with lots of people buying, will it plateau and people take profit and dump stock? Could be. There's been some folks that are selling some of their Nvidia as well, right? There's been a few buybacks and there's some folks that are getting rid of some Nvidia, but maybe they're trying to profit off Nvidia as opposed to not just profiting, but you got to think to yourself, okay, what do they see? Here's what you got to glean. You got to get as much information as you can and make the decision for yourself. Don't forget about the industry they play in, and don't undersell yourself AI. Don't undersell AI, right? Because for a lot of us that invest, we've learned to be sort of cynical about a stock that's doing well or a company that's doing well, right? What's coming next? What's around the corner? What's going to take it down? What's going to make all the shares drop out? We're a little cynical, but you can curb that cynicism by doing your research, understanding the earnings report, understanding what's in the news, understanding what the CEO and CFO are talking about, right? So Mrs. Moore invested in Nvidia, not now, but planning on it. Call. Let's see. Somebody said, "What chat am I in?" We're on Facebook. We're on X. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn. We're in a lot of different spots right here. Right. So that's probably where I'm seeing all the people. We got 400 something people in the chat. And so we should have at least 400 thumbs up, right? At least 400 thumbs up. So that's where we are. If you're on LinkedIn, you might be the only one or two people that dart in and out of LinkedIn. And sometimes, that's LinkedIn, but we got a lot of folks in other places. Somebody said price share. Nvidia pays a little bit of dividends. When they announced their stock split, they announced also a small, tiny little increase in dividends. But I'm not a big dividend person. I prefer a growing company, throw that money back into building the company, right? Dividends are cool. They're fine to get paid. That's cool. But when a company is growing like Nvidia, they don't have the incentive to pay, a hefty dividend, right? Their incentive, they don't need the incentive to lure investors in with a dividend, right? So Nvidia, they typically throw tons of their money right back into the company, which is all good. Sunset on the Ocean said, "I'm all in." Let's see. Locked in on Nvidia, dollar cost averaging. Okay, cool. Let's see. I do have Nvidia by both ETFs and single stocks. Okay, cool, Kenny. I'm invested. Plan to keep investing. I'm in. Plan on buying more shares soon. I'm in Nvidia, up 190% at last check. Art of War. Fantastic. What ETF has Nvidia? Well, if you get an S&P 500 ETF, that S&P 500 is going to S&P 500 ETFs are weighted ETFs, meaning the larger the market cap of each company in the ETF, the heavier or the more they carry, right? So the big Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, they're going to carry 15 or 20% of the weight in the total S&P 500. So if you get an S&P 500, that's a pretty sure sign you'll have some Nvidia in there. Somebody said 94 shares of Nvidia. Congratulations to you. Fantastic. Every dime I got. Let me hold tight on this one, Bernard. Bernard said, every dime I got is going into Nvidia. Investors beware. Please, investors beware. Don't get crazy with Nvidia. Don't lose your mind with Nvidia. So I pointed this out, Bernard, nothing personal against you, but you got to make sure you don't throw all of your money in one pot, right? Because then what you're doing is you're investing, but you're being emotional about it. You're getting all hyped up and you're putting all your money in one stock. And that violates a cardinal rule of investing, which is diversification. So my suggestion is you diversify and don't put all your money in one stock. I just want to make that clear, not to point you out, Bernard, but I pointed you out, Bernard. I'm sorry. But hey, listen, it's the facts. Don't put all your money into one stock and throw every dime you got into one company. Okay? You're being too emotional. Slow down, right? Slow down a little bit. Even keel is what I want you to be. Don't get too high, don't get too low, don't get too angry, don't get too happy. Just chill. It's got its issues, it's got its problems, but it's on the way up and it's doing a great job thus far. I just want you to be a sensible investor that's rational. And making sure you don't leave your fundamentals just because the girl is pretty, right? Just because the girl is pretty, don't lose your fundamentals, your values, right? Your investing morals, so to speak, right? Somebody said, I'm all in, Nvidia. Let's see, in with ETFs. I'm in there like swimwear. Samuel, that's my saying. Let me see. I'm in there, plan to buy more Nvidia. Got a bunch of them. Arthur in the house. Good to have you, Arthur. Good to have you. Happy late Father's Day to you, man. Appreciate you. Let's see, 20 shares in Nvidia, 160 shares in Nvidia, doing pretty well. Already up $50, 360 shares. So we got a lot of folks in here that are invested in Nvidia. Congratulations. Let me give you a quick warning though. For all of you that are all in on Nvidia, you want to, not warning, but let me give you something to think about. Be looking at the competitors, right? AI is being built on top of all existing technology. And we know technology is everywhere. That means AI is everywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. That means it's only going to go up. That means other companies are going to be benefiting off the AI boom, right? The show we did a few days back talking about Broadcom, right? I mean, Broadcom is another company that you need to be thinking about and looking at and saying, hey, wait a minute. They're doing a big split as well. Let me take a look at, see what Broadcom does. Let me explore their earnings reports. Let me explore their 10Q that recently came out, their 10K 10Q. Let me see what their CEO is doing. Perhaps that's another issue to take a look at. Broadcom is doing a 10-for-1 split coming up here in the next month or so, 3 or 4 weeks or so, right? Let me just share my screen real quick because I want to show you this because I want you to be an investor that's not just a one-trick pony, right? You don't want to be a one-trick pony when it comes to investing. You want to make sure that you are using your peripheral vision. I can barely say that word. Make sure you're using your peripheral vision. I'm going to stop saying it since I can barely say it. Here's Broadcom. You look at their year-to-date. Broadcom's year-to-date. This right here, this jump right here. I'm sharing my screen if you're not on YouTube. This jump right here was when they announced the split, right? They were trading at $1,495, $1,495 6 days ago. Now Broadcom is trading at $1,800, $400 more in 6 days. Let that sink in. In January of this year, Broadcom was trading at $1,000. Well, $1,049. Now they're trading at $1,800. $1,800 in 6 months. Let that sink in for a second. What I'm trying to show you here is that Nvidia is doing great, but do not sleep on the other companies that are going to benefit from the AI boom, right? That's being a smart investor, right? So I just wanted to come on here, guys, and give you a quick look, a quick talk, a quick heads up that what I said 2 weeks ago, the video is it's the first video in the description of this video on YouTube, right? The first video in that description was titled. It was actually titled. What was the title? Let me see. Let's see. The title of that video was Nvidia will be the largest company in the world. Nvidia stock will keep growing. That's the title of the video. It says urgent. Nvidia will be the largest company in the world. And it was put out back on May 30th. Is it? Yeah, May 30th is when I put that out. So a little more than 2 weeks ago. And I thought it would be 6 months, but it was 2 weeks. What's that tell you? Right? It tells you this thing is growing outrageously fast, right? Outrageously fast. So you guys got to do me a favor. Don't you dare leave this thing without hitting that thumbs up for me. I really would appreciate it. Just tap that thumbs up for me. I really would appreciate that, guys. Share the link with somebody that you know. And also, don't forget, drop me a comment. If you're watching this on the replay, drop me a comment. Let me know your position on NVIDIA, right? Moving forward. I know a bunch of you told me already in the chat, but if you're watching this on replay, I want to know. Somebody said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head. Please don't do that, right? Let's see here. Only company to go all in is GME. I'm not sure what that's to. Let's see here. Index funds split up. Infatuation is a curse, no doubt. What do we call it? Irrational exuberance is what we see right now, right? But the kicker with the word irrational exuberance, when everybody jumps on the bandwagon of a stock, they call it irrational exuberance. With NVIDIA right now, when you research the company and look at their numbers, and look at their possibilities, it's more like rational exuberance at this point, believe it or not, guys. Um, Somebody said QQQ. Somebody said Mr. WL, welcome. Mr. Cornwell, Cornell, good to have you here. Let's see. Somebody said, man, I got to have some Broadcom. Look, don't slip on these other companies. Don't slip on them. Don't think that Nvidia is the only company that's enjoying this ride, right? They're not, right? There's many companies enjoying this ride, guys. You got it, Bernard. Appreciate you, Bernard. Thanks for being here. And yeah, you want to diversify. So fantastic. Good to have you here, and Bernard, by the way. Let's see here. Thank you so much, Mrs. Moore. 20 shares, Tyree. Thanks, James, for being here. Thank you, Osiris. Thank you, G-Man. Thank you, Helen, for being here. Appreciate you guys. Listen, make sure you do your research. Don't take it from me. Please don't take it from me. Do your own research. I'm just giving you a heads up about this company that today is trading at 135. But guess what? We could look up, I could jump back on here next week at this time and say, man, Nvidia is at 145 right now. Wow. Right? It's listen, it's very, very possible. Right? So with that said, guys, I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. Make sure if you're watching this on replay to drop me a comment. Let me know what your position is on Nvidia right now. And if there's other companies that you'd like to throw out there as well, do that too for me, guys. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to go ahead and close it up. But hey, as I always say, you got to hit the like button. Oh, don't forget. Join me over on my other, it's a link in the description box. Join me as a member over there. We're going to dig a little more deeper into stocks and real estate over there as well. That's a link, the second link in the description box here on YouTube as well. Get your 24 Laws of Money free. Don't forget that my partner on all of my YouTube videos right now is Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile. Save yourself some money. I'm a fan. I'm a user. Super duper good service, excellent customer service as well. There's a link to Mint Mobile in the description box below. Sometimes I forget about all that stuff, guys. I just go right into the content. Hey, the best person who's going to take care of the old you is the young you. Guys, do me a favor, take good care of yourself, but also take good care of other people as well. All right? Until the next video, peace.